Like I say, they don't have to believe me. You can just look at the newspapers. They tried to burn down the newspaper postings and the newspaper places. That's why. That's why. And they said George Washington or some person went after the reporters. But no, it didn't happen then. It happened between 1930 and 1960 or 1970. That's when all the reporters were being killed, right around the same time as Vietnam. So anyway, that's it was all around those White Star submarines. Everybody would say it was all about the White Star submarines, which they later on tried to paint gray. And there's photographs of them. It was all about John McCain, Richard Nixon, all of them, what they were doing, the piracy, the White House, and all about you just gotta look up Marilyn Monroe. It's all interconnected. It's all very, very, very bad psychotic Richard Nixon, John McCain, Lee Harvey Oswald, which was the bad nice one. And then we get into Rick Bush, Rodney Briley, and a bunch of U.S. soldiers or whatever, Vietnam vets, and also some people at the ITT Technical Institute, which I granted a lot of money for some research. And they had a German reactor that was actually there long before the school ever was. Anyway, a whole big pack of lies. That's why why Dina Dell said the web we weave when we practice to deceive. And people like what's his name? What's his name? That radio talk show host. I forget his name. The fat guy that liked cocaine. Um, I don't remember his name. It was all a big scam. Kind of also involved the caviar business, but they didn't involve the caviar. That was what's his name? The Jackie whatever or what's his name? Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous. You know. Anyway, and it involved a bunch of just a bunch of lies, a bunch of free will, and a bunch of people doing some really 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 bad things, raping a bunch of French people or a bunch of English people, a bunch of German people, a bunch of well, I don't know about the Germans, but they definitely raped the Chinese on the island, the females. They would take them hostage on their commando raids. Shoot the men or hold the men or tie the men up while they raped the girls, or took the girls back to the submarines, trying to lure women to the submarines. You know, and then later on they were selling cocaine out of a hot dog stand for free or something, and they were bad hot dogs. And all the things that JFK was doing, living and dying on the beaches of whatever. Basically a bunch of men wearing speedos, doing drugs and doing steroids. And then his guerrilla enforcers, which couldn't actually even pull his arms together because they had too much muscles. And then later on, they were working for me because I could pay better. That was funny. I took them over. It's like, well, I can pay better, so they're like, okay. So yeah. Anyway, so I kind of took them over myself because I could pay a lot more money and provide for them a lot better than JFK ever could. So anyway, yeah, I was like, all right, that's it. And like I said, the Chinese, the Japanese, there was no China and Japan. There was only Asian. That was it. And basically Nixon, JFK, and all those others. So Nixon was really paranoid because literally it was them against the whole world, and that's how they felt. And a lot of the submariners would say, "Well, it's us against the whole world." Basically, it's like, yeah, well, you guys were piece of shit pirates, rapists, alpha males, smearing goat blood all over yourself. Like I said, JFK as a child with a bunch of other clones or a bunch of other children, he used to push people off the slide onto the concrete. A couple of Germans caught him doing it, or a couple of them doing it. Basically, they would get the kids would go up to the top thing, and they notice one of them would basically took one of his brothers and basically just threw him off the high dive thing right onto the concrete. And then later on, he's running tanks into the wall of the White House. Like, he was psychotic from the day of birth. Like I said, there were 30 clones or so, a bunch of children. They're trying to confuse me with the rest of them. I was a quiet one. I was there too for a minute. And then and they're like, "Oh, you're different." I was like, "Yeah." because some other people were like, who wants to be president or who wants to be leader? And I was like, whatever. Like, I think I'm leader, but whatever. Anyway, it was weird. So I was like, yeah, I'll pass. And basically, whatever. Anyway, and like I say, JFK and Nixon, they thought he was me for a minute there. They, he named America and everything. I mean, he named this country something else too, and they were going along with him like he was the epic leader or something like that for the longest time. And he turned out to be a psychotic maniac, basically. And he named this country, he did this, he did that, he set everything up the way he wanted it to be and all that stuff. And basically it turned out that basically, he was just trying to overlap, what I had already done. And basically just trying to make up his own shit. And basically just being crazy and psychotic. And he wasn't me. They were just trying to confuse who I was. So basically I went to the side and he was like, and basically just wrecking the world on a one-way pass to everything that he never had, that he never deserved or never created or was never a part of. This is all me. So anyway, though, but for a minute there, they were able to confuse me with other children, and basically life went alternate whatever, and basically for a minute there, like he was kind of in power, but not really in power, just able to try and superimpose his names onto the world or whatever. But like he was like, and I was like, whatever, no hey. So anyway, so I was delegated to the side, and basically went poof, gone. They're like, you're different. So, and then they noticed I was different. So, than everyone else. So, whatever. Like I said, originally me and JFK and Nixon and also John McCain and even that other guy, the Rothschild child guy, we were the same age. The exact same age as children. I was there. He was there. We were there. That's why he has that stupid painting of that child. Probably a painting of Richard Nixon or someone, or maybe me. But basically, he was there. I remember him. So, anyway. So, he went one way, I went the other way. And I am the reality. I'm the real Lucifer star. So, always was. Just for a minute there, I was confused with other people. So, I was like, they are not the creators of 12 races and human existence and epic Lucifer star. They were just people. They got to live their life and got lots of money and got lots of support and whatever. And basically, epic war and epic destruction and carpet bombing and a bunch of other nasty, nasty shit happened. And basically a tank getting rammed through the White House. And a bunch of Secret Service people going, what the f***? And a bunch of other people going, what the f***? And basically, yeah, So anyway, like I said, it caused a side angle. And basically, there was like an existence that went, and couldn't exist without me. So... hey, whatever. I don't really know. I don't really care. But that's what happened. They tried to confuse me with 30 other blonde children, and basically I was like... They noticed I was different right away, though. So, like, you're different, aren't you? Like, yeah. Because I was just standing off to the side. I wasn't like the me. I was just like taking it like, whatever, this is weird. Anyway, so, yeah, so... Anyway, whatever. I don't really care. It's like, I don't really care. I'm ambivalent. I'm epic Lucifer star. And then there's everyone else. So, hey, whatever. Confusion and annoyances and time travel and all kinds of other crazy stuff won't do you a damn bit of good. It actually just kind of drove me deeper into everything else. Like, it actually in a way, it actually did me a lot of good, because in a lot of ways, like, because their angle of existence in life and basically everything was like, and they were going in a completely different direction than I had already been going and done and all that other stuff. So what it actually made me do is it actually had a weird effect of basically driving me deeper into, because they couldn't exist without me anyway. So without my existence. So it just kind of went and drove me deeper into everything else, because they were trying to deny my existence basically. Or something weird like that. Like a paradox. So it just drove me deeper into everyone else and that's the point in time where eventually I became part of everyone else for a while. I had to exist. There was no way, it's a paradox otherwise. So I had to exist. So there wasn't, but with them around, they were going to try and make sure that I didn't exist.